பற்ற வைத்த நெருப்பொன்று பற்றி எறியவனை கேட்கும். நீ விதைத்த வினையெல்லாம் உன்னை அறுக்க காத்திருக்கும். Let's go! Peace, bro.
सिंगापुर में लोग 7% जीएसटी पे करते हैं, फिर भी उन्हें फ्री मेडिकल सर्विस मिलती है। और इंडिया में हम 28% जीएसटी पे करते हैं और हमें कोई भी मेडिकल सर्विस नहीं मिलती। क्यों? Why?
यहाँ हम दवाइयों पे 12% टैक्स देते हैं और वहीं शराब पे कोई भी जीएसटी नहीं।
यहाँ सरकारी अस्पतालों में हमारे पास ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर नहीं है। मैं जानना चाहता हूँ इसकी वजह क्या है। वो डरते हैं, खौफ में जीते हैं और यही डर प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल के लिए एक इन्वेस्टमेंट बन के रह गया है।
आर यू ट्राइंग टू जस्टिफाई योर मर्डर? नहीं दोस्त, मैंने जो किया वो मर्डर नहीं है, वो सफाई है। सफाई है करप्ट मेडिकल सिस्टम की। और जब तक मैं जिंदा हूं वो मैं करता रहूंगा और अपनी देश की सेवा करता रहूंगा।
Go through the dialogue in English if you do not understand Tamil and if you have not watched the movie. This is the entire dialogue that plays out on GST. He says Singapore collects 7% GST and they provide free healthcare services to its citizens. This is the only factoid which perhaps you can say is wrong because they have MediSave and it goes out of their income tax $1,500 or above 8 to 10.5%. छोड़ दीजिए, movie है. But look at the real point. He says our government collects 28% GST. Does it not? In some cases it does. Why are we not providing free healthcare is a question. Then he says services to our citizens. That's the dialogue. For medicine, 12% GST. True or false? 5% to 12% is the variant. He's picked up the higher one. One commodity that cripples our livelihood. He's talking about liquor. There is no GST on human consumptible alcohol consumed by humans. Let's put it that way. Alcohol consumed by humans. There is no GST levied. Other taxes are. Then he goes on to say there is oxygen cylinder in one of the government hospitals. No oxygen cylinder in one of the government hospitals. We know which one, don't we? And when we inquire, we come to know that they have unpaid bills for more than 2 years. Is he not talking about what happened in Gorakhpur? Of course he is. Another government hospital, there is a power cut during a kidney dialysis and 4 people are died because of this. True or false? Don't you remember the case? You do. Then he goes on to say the reason there is no power backup in that hospital. A newborn baby is bitten by a rodent in the hospital. True, false? True. And the baby is dead. True. This has happened in our hospitals. This is what he's saying in the dialogue. People are scared about government hospitals instead of disease. And that is the fear that is capitalized on by private hospitals. You tell me, what is there to mute about this dialogue? That the BJP has gone overboard, said, mute it. This is the entire story, ladies and gentlemen. Just quickly, another scene where a comedian stands for a French visa and says, "Mere jeb mein note nahi hai," because it is all digital India and we have to stand outside banks to get our notes. Is that not true? Aren't we looking at digital India? Aren't we carrying less notes in our pocket? What's so wrong about this? That's the story.
The big developing political story of the day, which is of course turned political. A day after BJP trained its guns on superstar Vijay's latest outing, Mersal, an all-out political slugfest has broken out. While the BJP charged Vijay with tax evasion, Rahul Gandhi accused the Prime Minister of he wanted to say demonizing, but he punned on it on his tweet and said demonetizing Tamil pride, prompting filmmaker Madhur Bhandarkar to remind Rahul of Hindu Sarkar and possibly his double standards.
Leading the charge was Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, who himself took a swipe at demonetization while asking PM Modi to not interfere with Tamil films and culture. But soon the ghost of Congress's own intolerance to criticism came back to haunt Rahul Gandhi. Filmmaker Madhur Bhandarkar was quick to remind Rahul how the Congress tried to muzzle his film Hindu Sarkar that was based on the emergency.
That particular time when I was making the movie, I was forced and in duress to change a lot of names, to tweak a lot of words in the film, dialogues, and I had to succumb to the pressure.
The BJP in Tamil Nadu too is not backing down. Upping the ante, the party accused the Mersal actor of tax evasion.
If Vijay or Atli or the producer company, which is a DMK based company, I think, if they have got any genuine grievance against GST, we welcome. But stating falsehood with the intention to create bad blood between government and people, it's unacceptable.
As the debate over freedom of expression once again resurfaces, political parties are drawing maximum political capital out of this debate. At one end, you have the Congress protesting the right to freedom of expression, but on the same hand, it was the Congress itself which wanted Hindu Sarkar not to be released. However, the BJP as well stands equally accused today because they were totally fine for a film like Toilet Prem Katha going on and espousing the Prime Minister's vision of Swachh Bharat. However, they have taken offense to this. Joining me today for this debate is
तमिल फिल्म मरसल पे जीएसटी पर जो तंज कसा गया है उस पर बीजेपी की आपत्ति के बाद अब मुद्दे में राहुल गांधी कूद पड़े हैं और न सिर्फ कूद पड़े हैं बल्कि इसमें उन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को खींच लिया है, उन्हें घेर लिया है। फिल्म में दखल देकर डराने की कोशिश न करें, कह रहे हैं राहुल गांधी। और वो तमिल फिल्म के समर्थन में राहुल गांधी आ गए हैं। मरसल फिल्म में दखल ना दें, नरेंद्र मोदी क्या ट्वीट किया इस पर हम देखते हैं, जरा गौर करते हैं। मोदी जी, सिनेमा तमिल संस्कृति और भाषा की अभिव्यक्ति है। तमिलों के गर्व फिल्म मर्सेल में दखल देने की कोशिश न करें तो कमजोर नब्ज पर प्रहार। राहुल गांधी समझते हैं कि जो सुपरस्टार हैं उनकी किस तरह की फॉलोइंग है, और ऐसे में उनकी फिल्म के समर्थन में आकर वो एक बहुत अहम पॉलिटिकल पॉइंट स्कोर करते दिख रहे हैं यहां पे। और फिल्म विवाद में क्यों हैं? क्योंकि फिल्म में अभिनेता विजय का एक डायलॉग है और उस डायलॉग में वो जीएसटी पर तंज कस रहे हैं। ये कह रहे हैं कि सिंगापुर में जहां 7% जीएसटी है वहां नागरिकों को मुफ्त स्वास्थ्य सेवा मिलती है, लेकिन भारत में 28% जीएसटी होने के बाद भी सरकार ऐसा नहीं कर पाई है। इसी में एक कॉमेडियन है इस फिल्म में, और वो हास्य अभिनेता वादिवेलु अपने बटुआ सिंगापुर में एक चोर को दिखाते हैं और कहते हैं कि डिजिटल इंडिया को धन्यवाद, मेरा बटुआ खाली है। यानी कि 2 जगह तंज कसा गया है, जीएसटी और डिजिटल इंडिया दोनों जगह, और यही वजह है कि बीजेपी को इस पर आपत्ति है, मगर वो इस सीन को हटाने की मांग कर रही है। और अब राहुल गांधी इसमें कूद पड़े हैं और सीधे हमला बोला उन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी पर। और इस मुद्दे पर आम आदमी पार्टी नेता और डिप्टी सीएम दिल्ली के मनीष सिसोदिया, उनका भी ट्वीट आया, फिल्म को सेंसर करने की जगह हमें जीएसटी को लेकर आ रही समस्याओं को हल करना चाहिए।
ये है एबीपी न्यूज, आपको रखे आगे।
It started with a disagreement on facts. The BJP said that certain dialogues, especially about the GST and Digital India in Vijay starrer Mersal, were factually incorrect. They wanted those dialogues removed. The producers had even agreed. But then some leaders decided to play Big Brother. So references to Vijay's religion, which is Christianity, were dragged in. And now it seems there is a bigger effort to arm twist. Has that actually turned public sentiment in favor of Mersal? Has the BJP shot itself in the foot? A seemingly innocent tweet by BJP leader H. Raja, but the intention is clear. The tweet has the voter I-card and letterhead of actor Vijay with the caption, "Truth is bitter." But what is the truth Raja is highlighting? It's clear the focus is on Vijay's Christian name to underline his religion. The BJP's anger with the Tamil superstar started with his alleged misrepresentation of central schemes like GST and Digital India in his movie Mersal. But now the controversy has taken on a communal color as well, with the BJP asking why Vijay's movie asked people to build more hospitals than temples.
If he has told whether it is we can build more hospital than building temple, church, mosque, it's all right. Why singling out Hindus' place of worship alone?
But is the party now isolated in its opposition to Mersal? Political parties have united to condemn what they say is the BJP's attempt to play super censor. Added to that, all heavyweights of the Tamil film industry have also backed Mersal to the hilt. In fact, Rajnikant went to the extent of praising the film's subject, a sentiment that was echoed by Kamal Hassan. Popular support too seems to be with Vijay. WhatsApp videos with the GST dialogues the BJP finds objectionable have now been made viral across Tamil Nadu. Even as a complaint has now been lodged against Vijay from Tollywood bigwigs to people on the streets, support is only growing for him. Has the BJP's opposition to Mersal and their communal attack on its lead star backfired on the party? With Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, so what exactly was the BJP thinking? Has their campaign against Mersal gone all wrong? Joining us is actor Kasturi. We've got leader of the Congress, Nagma, a film star herself, a spokesperson of the BJP, Shaina NC, and we've got Bhardwaj Rangan, film critic, also joining us. But Shaina NC, I want to first ask you, do you think this entire campaign has gone completely haywire? In fact, let me get a voice in from Nagma. It started out as objections to factual inaccuracies. At which point do you think the BJP's campaign against Mersal went completely haywire? Nagma?
I think it's right from the very beginning, and it's not only about Mersal, it's about many other films. It's also with Vishwarupam, we saw that this earlier episode happened, and many other films, similar episodes happened with. So I think this kind of browbeating is not correct, and they shouldn't be pressurizing the film industry, because film industry is just like a mirror image of what happens in reality, and that's what even Vijay tried to say. I mean, they shouldn't be kind of opposed to criticism, and I don't think that's in good light. And even as we hear all the BJP leaders speak, they speak very differently. We heard, I was on a debate with GVL Narasimha Rao and he said something like artists don't have they're not intellectual and they don't have the acumen and all that, and I think they just don't know where they're heading. And today we hear that there are GST raids on an actor called Vishal in Tamil Nadu. So we see that everybody is speaking in one voice. All the actors are united and they stand against and opposing this move of the BJP leaders. So it's not as if it's only in the state, but it's also that the center is participating in this whole Mersal drama. But this only shows that the public and the actors are together, and Mersal has gone on to becoming a very big hit. So nothing really matters with what BJP is trying to do. So when they see that they can't get successful in one way, so they try their pressure tactics in the other way. They have many things to concentrate on in Tamil Nadu, like the dengue fever. So many people are dying because of that. There is a ceiling which has collapsed in the administrative office that so many people have died because of. There are so many things which are not going right in the Tamil Nadu
fair
government.
Or foul,
this is just
China,
a diversionary tactic and a pressure
that
tactic.
This attempt to browbeat the filmmakers is going to succeed?
Excuse me, let me complete.
Just a second. Nagma, you made a lot of points. Let Shaina NC respond one by one.
Hello.
Yes, Shaina, go on.
I think, we have lost the kind of sense of debate, because this is not about a sentiment or judgment that we are pronouncing. We are only saying that if you have a creative freedom of expression to express yourself, the government also has the freedom to say what is wrong or what is factually incorrect. Now, when you're suggesting to public that, oh, look at the wrongdoings and giving comparisons of countries like Singapore, does that do justice to the cause, or does that only show a conspiracy theory? So if you are entitled to your opinion, we are entitled to ours. That is the extent of this debate.
Legitimate to talk about the bitter truth that Vijay is Christian. And why is that even a bitter truth? What is bitter about being Christian?
This is the same Vijay who is a superstar, who people believe, yes, conceded, point conceded. But when he talks about the GST in Singapore and equates that to India, isn't that misleading for public?
Sure. So you go
like an icon,
to an appellate body and you say that the censor should make more cuts in a movie. I'm sure you yourself recognize, Shaina, that there is a body known as the Central Board of Film Certification which decides what cuts should come into a movie and what shouldn't.
This is not about content. We are not interested in getting into any kind of cuts. We are only talking about facts. Now, the facts are that you have the Indian medical fraternity, the IMA.
Your Tamil Nadu BJP chief, Tamilisai Soundarajan, she asked for cuts to be made, additional cuts, as if she and the BJP are another censorship body altogether, in addition to the CBFC.
Nobody is suggesting censorship. We are only in a healthy democracy having a healthy debate. You have the Indian Medical Association that has...
I don't know, Shaina is in some lala land. I don't think she's aware of the facts.
Nagma wants to respond to you. Nagma.
I don't know whether Shaina is really aware of the facts, but I think that the film is really, the BJP leaders there are demanding for a recensoring of the film, and I think she's absolutely incorrect on her facts. The film Mersal, the only thing that Vijay really talks about is saying that if there is 77% of GST in Singapore and the people get health insurance over there, then why at 28% people are not getting over here? So what's so wrong in that? And if he's talking about Gorakhpur and saying that there are so many deaths of children happening in that, isn't that factually correct? I mean, what is there to be upset about it? Better your facilities and get things organized. Your own minister, your own revenue minister has said, officer has said that GST needs a lot of alterations and it needs a lot of changes. So your own person from the government, within the government, is saying that. So what is so wrong if an actor says that? If there's a voice of people which want to reflect and say that look, whatever is happening is wrong. Correct.
Absolutely. And in fact, let's get more cross-section of voices.
Accept it and see what can be done about it.
Kasturi, the BJP's
trying to just
the BJP's argument is
otherwise
we found factual inaccuracies. Don't know why people are making such a big deal about it. Do you think this is just a civilized exchange of ideas or point and counterpoint?
No, there is no factual
Kasturi.
I think this was directed to me.
There is nothing factually incorrect in the film. I think a responsible actor like even Rajinikanth wouldn't come and support the film if there was something.
Excuse me, Shaina, did you change your name to Kasturi?
And as I said, that there is somebody from within the government.
Can I get a word here?
All right, just a second. Kasturi wants to come.
First of all, when a senior spokesperson of a party starts answering questions directed to another person, that reflects really poorly on their party policy on the whole, and that is exactly the problem that's happening in Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, it's a question of who asked you, why are you bringing this up, and why you're not taking it up with the relevant authorities. If it was inaccuracies in the research or the information that was disseminated through the movie, then the censor board that cleared it must have been approached for a review of the movie. People should not be coming out and giving public announcements and giving personal attacks on people involved in the movie, especially the lead actor. He didn't write the dialogue, he spoke it. That doesn't make him responsible for the content. He's not the director, he's not the dialogue writer. And to seriously bringing in religion, that is where we really had a problem, because you can have differences of opinion about the content of a movie and about what kind of issues the movie talks about. Fair enough, we'll give that point to you. But when you start directing thinly veiled religious attacks at people. Okay, is Joseph Vijay's name? Yes, absolutely. Is that inaccurate? No. But by that same logic, veteran actress Sharmila Tagore, her official name now is Ayesha Begum. It is nothing to be ashamed of. She is proud of her legacy and of her Islamic name. But if I went out and gave a statement about Ayesha Begum, who's going to even know what I'm talking about? So then, nobody addresses Dilip Kumar as Yusuf Khan, and nobody will anybody in BJP address their own
China, that very thin excuse of factual inaccuracies is just worn away now. The entire focus is, and the moment Mr. H. Raja spoke, for the last 4 days, all he has said is Joseph Vijay. He tweeted that those 2 pictures of his voter ID card, his letterhead said, bitter truth cannot be hidden. Then he's speaking about how he's a
Why
Christian.
Is that truth bitter?
Exactly, I agree. Why is it a bitter truth at all? And then he says because he's Christian, he's leading a hate campaign. What kind of message are you sending? And moreover, don't you think that you're sounding like a sneering bully?
Who is that question for, Padmija?
That's for you, Shaina.
I just have 2 points to make. Do we believe in freedom of expression? Most definitely. Do we want to have everyone express themselves? Absolutely. But if you are suggesting a misappropriated fact and comparing India to Singapore, which in itself is stupidity.
No, Shaina, you have freedom of expression, but the point Kasturi was making was, you do not have the freedom to bring in my religion and then impute motives to me because of my religion.
Have the right?
That is unfair.
No, why do we not have the option to contradict that too? I think that if for every opinion there is going to be a counter opinion, for every narrative there is a counter narrative, and if there is a fact
counter narrative, this is communal,
misguided by some kind of truth or agenda,
but this seems like communal agenda.
We have never gotten to any communal debate. It is important to understand that at this juncture, all we are saying is that if you talk about GST, at least come out with the facts the way it should be. Why are you instigating public on wrong path to believe that what happens in Singapore is legitimate? And forget the BJP for a minute. 1 second, Padmaja, forget the BJP for a minute. What about the medical fraternity that has spoken so vociferously?
But China, the medical fraternity does not have the power to just send GST officials to your house, which coincidentally seems to have happened to Vishal, someone who supported the Mersal filmmakers. Suddenly, some documents were sought, and while it may be a complete coincidence, it's a rather fortunate coincidence, or unfortunate in the case of Vishal.
So this coincidence you are holding as a conspiracy theory. You have pronounced a judgment that a coincidence
I
could be a
haven't pronounced any judgment. I'm just saying it is wildly coincidental. Could still be a coincidence, but I have to say the timing does raise a few questions, doesn't it, Kasturi?
Wildly.
No, it's absolutely freaky timing. Ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, never have GST has not even been in force for more than, I think, 4 months now, from July, so maybe 5 months, and already we are experiencing investigations related to GST. Now, of course, the GST High Command has released a statement saying they did not order any raid. So I really don't know. I'm very confused about the coincidence of all this. In the meantime, I also want to say the antagonists of the movie were both Christian. The lead actor is playing a Hindu and he's playing a doctor. So, every lobby can spin it the way they want, but the truth remains that the movie was not trying to ruffle anybody or target any political party. If they were wrong, then, BJP lost a great opportunity to take that wrong sentence, splash it all over the papers and rebut it in a positive manner. To say Singapore has free medical insurance. No, that's not the case.
But that's
we are actually making it happen. They could have made. No, that's not what you're doing. You are harassing the film industry in Tamil Nadu, which is not the right thing to do.
Shaina.
Oh, please. We're not interested in harassing anybody. We're not interested in harassing anybody. And Padmaja, please do understand that in a democracy, if you have opinions, you can have counter opinions. If you have a conspiracy theory to spread lies, there can be correctification of that by corrective statements, and that is the only agenda. Now, for those who are trying to pitch this as a debate that because he's Christian, I think it's most unfortunate. That's not the fabric of India, and that is something that the Prime Minister himself despises. So I think that we should be responsible citizens, send out the correct measures. GST is a very, very difficult but a very important step that the government has taken. Public support is a must, and in that public support, people like Vijay, who the community looks up to, cannot be misleading you with false, inappropriate facts.
Well, that's great. That's great. If you think that goes against the fabric of society, maybe an apology and a retraction from the national secretary of your party then would be in order. Let me also get in Bhardwaj Rangan to this. Bhardwaj Rangan, you think this is just a legitimate exchange of ideas, difference of opinion being aired on public platforms, nothing more, nothing less?
Yeah, I think first of all, this such a ruckus has been created about something that is so taken for granted in Tamil cinema, because down the decades, it has been a part and parcel of leading men to kind of draw upon the politics of the day, certain issues of the day, to kind of to make certain points. And yes, it is a bit of a there's a bit of rabble rousing here, but the points do make sense because they are based on reality. Now, to kind of pick out certain things and then say that these are not, I mean, it's a genuine exchange of ideas between people, and to say that that's wrong, or to kind of demand a recensoring of the film, that's frankly plain nuts.
How would you respond to charges that you're trying to play super censor then?
Sorry?
China.
No, that's to China. India. Right, correct. Sorry, you'll have to repeat that, Padmaja.
My question was, you are trying to play super censor. There are so many different allegations that you've leveled now. A, you say factual inaccuracies. B, you're talking about a motivated campaign. C, you're saying that it's trying to pave his way for an entry into politics. But at the end of the day, you're forcing them to remove dialogues which were passed by the censor board. This is bullying.
Okay, no, we're not interested in bullying. We're not even interested in interfering, but we are interested in clarification. Now, you asked about factual inaccuracy. I want to say what they are saying about GST, is that correct? Ask any expert, any economist, anybody in the government or even outside the government, and they will tell you that it is factually incorrect to compare Singapore, to compare India, to talk about GST there and to talk about GST here. You ask anybody in the medical fraternity if our objection is valid or not. We're not a hypersensitive government. We're not interested in bullying anyone. We are only interested in setting out correct communication, for which we need public participation. If you have heroes and supermodels and superstars giving out factually incorrect information, does that not instigate public? And
but does insulting a hero with such a following also not send the wrong message to the public?
I think there could be a healthy debate to discuss what you are saying and what we are saying.
But where was the healthy debate? There was only an attack, and a rather personal one at that. From imputing political motives to questioning his intentions, it became personal very quickly. There was no space for healthy debate, Nagma.
I think Shaina is absolutely incorrect on all her statements. She's just superficially talking. There is nothing that is not correct in the film. There's nothing that Vijay has spoken is not correct. He simply said that if there is 7% in Singapore, and if they are if there's 7% in Singapore GST is charged and people are getting health insurance, then why can't we get health insurance at 28%? And Shaina doesn't know about the Tamil film industry. industry. She doesn't even know what's happening in Tamil Nadu over there. She doesn't know what the leaders have been speaking over there. The iCard of Vijay has been given, the voter iCard. They've been trying to make it a Christian issue. They've been talking about this. What are they getting at? Every day they are talking about a different story, and they're trying to communalize this whole issue, and they're trying to and please, China, actors are far more responsible than any politician as far as showing content in film is concerned. I think people like those of Vijay standards and Rajnikant and those on the top, they are far more responsible to show people, because they know that people idolize them, people listen to them. So I think you're factually incorrect on the fact that the contents in the film or whatever has been said in the film is not correct and is something wrong. Apart from that, I think it's your own person looking to your own, who has already condemned the GST and already said that a lot of alterations have to be made in it.
Are you isolated on this issue, Shaina, considering that even heavyweights like Mr. Rajnikant, who you have been wooing quite consistently, he too has thrown his weight behind Mersal? Clearly your campaign hasn't found any support from politicians, from film stars,
I have repeated myself. I have repeated. But we are not looking for support. This is not an issue of you versus me. This is about if you say something which is factually wrong, I as the government or I as an independent am allowed to give you a counter narrative. If you have compared India to Singapore,
there is nothing which we have said factually wrong.
Country of that size cannot be compared to India.
Prove it.
You cannot have any. If you have made something,
that's the reason why you're charging 28%.
We are entitled to have a counter
and they are charging 7%.
I don't understand. Isn't this a democracy? And if it is a democracy, we are not here to bulldoze our opinion on somebody else. We are here to send out the correct signals. You talk about GST of
what about the petrol prices?
You can continue to make this a politically motivated agenda to set out your agenda.
Of the country.
Here we are only saying if you have somebody who is a superstar, who looks up to, who people look up to, clearly they have the option to know the reality and the facts as they are today.
You think the local leadership did not think through their strategy against Mersal? Yes,
what is
you have
the reality and what is the fact?
You have a democratic way of registering your protest and say, listen, we will appeal against this film. And then you have the opportunity to go out, berate the filmmakers, say that they are motivated, and basically insult an entire legion of their fans as well, Shaina. And isn't that what has happened, Kasturi? People have taken this personally because they think that
local
our
leadership,
film icons are being insulted.
I think the biggest issue is, let me make it clear that Najmaji says a lot of things against the government policy, but it's not even like, just because the Congress is right now in the opposition doesn't make them right. GST was a brainchild of the Congress. That said, that apart, it is a travesty that I have to say what I was hoping Shaina would have said.
Yeah,
there is no GST on petrol and alcohol. You know, there is no GST on alcohol and petrol because the state government still levy more than 60% tax on these two items. The alcohol is taxed at in Tamil Nadu. Instead of bringing these facts to the table, BJP is just sitting here doing some kind of rabble-rousing. That is the exact problem to start with. Why don't you start positive politicking instead of just picking on people? That itself would be a good start.
Shaina, it was a misfire by our local leadership.
The local leadership, Padmaja, are entitled to pick up the local issues based on public sentiment. If there is a huge segment and section in Tamil Nadu that is in agreement with us, we are entitled to raise voices as legitimate voice of dissent. And I've said that when you speak as a legitimate voice of dissent, there are people who listen to you, people who contradict you. This is not a question about one-upmanship. This is a question about setting the facts in the public domain.
What local
and that's
sentiment?
Exactly
the
what
local sentiment. The local sentiment is what you're voicing against Vijay?
Is that what you're saying? That is the local sentiment?
The local sentiment is that the government has one, GST is not somebody's women fancy, and it's very convenient for the Congress party to completely disregard what happened during their own tenure. So let's not get into any of that.
Shaina, this is
I
not
think
about
it's
even the
imperative to
GST
understand
anymore.
that in the days
it is about
to come,
the way that you
we
handle the issue.
united,
and that's the problem. That's what Kasturi is trying to point out.
Against wrong,
that you could have just factually
wrong, misleading campaign.
You could have responded to them. But no, you made it personal. That's what Kasturi is saying. Am I right, Kasturi?
Absolutely. Instead of still today we have been listening to misrepresentation. So give us the correct story. The people need to know what GST is all about. And this was a great opportunity to tell us what it was all about. But you just fritter it away in rabble-rousing. At this point, I'm going to excuse myself. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right, Kasturi, thank you very much. But Bhartwaj Rangan, as a film critic, how would you have rather seen the BJP respond? Do you think that their strategy was ill-timed, ill-thought out?
No, I think they single-handedly ended up making what would have been just another blockbuster into a must-see event, a kind of a rallying cry for people who feel that we should be allowed to say our own what we want to say. Instead of refuting, as Kasturi said, instead of refuting whatever was said, if they felt it was wrong with facts and other things, they've just what has happened is they've resorted to a kind of a smear campaign, a hate campaign, and that has really worked in favor of the film. So I wouldn't be surprised if many future films incorporate a lot of pro-government anti-government things, just kind of get a lot of traction in this kind of a thing.
All right, very interesting points of view, and maybe, Nagma, the BJP has ended up playing in your hands in that fashion, because according to a film critic, Mersal has ended up making more money than other two Hindi releases which came out on the same weekend. So actually the message that was being suppressed is now being disseminated with more vigor. Nagma.
Yeah, it's not only about Mersal. You see the petrol prices, you see whatever is happening in Rajasthan, you see whatever is happening in Gujarat, that they are bribing people with the money. So it's not about one issue, it's about a million issues that are happening around, and they have more serious issues to concentrate on. Look at the Jay and the Shehzada issue which is happening, the kind 16,000 times profit that they have made. So there are a lot of things to talk about. So don't say that they've given this issue into our hands. There are many issues that they've given into our hands which we can talk about, but right now, because the topic is just about Mersal, we are talking about it. The other day when I was on a debate, even GVL said that artists don't have the acumen, so they have Smriti Irani, so they have Anupam Kher, so they have Paresh Rawal, so they are trying to say that they don't have the intellect and they don't have the acumen. What are they trying to do? I mean, one after the other, they're making mistakes. And look at GVL Narasimha Rao. I don't even know who he is. If he ceases to be the spokesperson of the BJP, I don't know if anybody would know him. But I have been working in Andhra for the longest of time, and I don't think he knows anything about films either in Andhra or in Tamil Nadu, and he doesn't know the sentiment which runs so high that films and politics go hand in hand. And I don't think a responsible actor, that of Rajinikanth or Vijay or anybody like that, even like what Shaina said, can make any sort of a mistake or can show something so wrong in the eyes of public, because they have their own image to protect. So I don't think that they were misleading people and misleading. It's the BJP that is misleading. Okay. It's the BJP that went out in public domain, put out his voter ID card. And it's them who is just gone and done the GST raids on actor Vishal and trying to force themselves and pressurize actors like that, which is not correct.
Okay, so neither is GVL Narasimha Rao on the panel right now, neither is Shaina there anymore, so I will leave it to them to respond eventually. But thanks very much, Nagma, for having joined us. We'll see how this plays out. There was an interesting twist in the evening where it seemed that people who are speaking up in support of Mersal are also facing possible tax investigation. Don't forget that
Raja himself said, when is Vijay going to talk about his tax evasion? So was there a tacit threat over there? Was there a hint? We'll see how this plays out.